The year is 1519. Imagine a time when the Americas existed in splendid isolation, unknown to much of the world. A time when the Aztec Empire, a beacon of advanced civilization, flourished in the heart of Mesoamerica. Yet this world was about to change forever. From across the Atlantic, a force driven by ambition and the lust for gold was approaching. This is the story of the Spanish invasion of Mexico, a period of profound transformation that continues to shape our world today. Before the Spanish arrived, the Aztec Empire stood as a testament to human ingenuity and social organization. Their capital, Tenochtitlán, was a marvel of engineering, an island city interconnected by canals and causeways. The Aztecs were deeply spiritual, their lives intertwined with a complex cosmology and a pantheon of gods. Their society was hierarchical, ruled by an emperor who held both religious and political authority. The Aztec Empire, though powerful, was not monolithic. Little did the Aztecs know that a storm was brewing across the ocean, a storm that would shatter the foundations of their world. Hernán Cortés, the man who would change the course of Mexican history, was a figure of both ambition and ruthlessness. Born into a family of lesser nobility in Spain, Cortés yearned for adventure and fortune. In 1504, at the age of 19, he set sail for the Americas, determined to carve his name into history. Cortés possessed a combination of charisma, cunning, and an unyielding will. In 1518, Cortés was granted permission to explore and secure trade with the mainland. He envisioned nothing less than the conquest of an empire. Landing on the Yucatan Peninsula in 1519, Cortés wasted no time in asserting his dominance. His initial encounters with the indigenous populations were a mix of diplomacy and brute force. Cortés, a master of political maneuvering, recognized an opportunity to exploit regional divisions. He forged alliances with groups like the Totonacs and the Tlaxcalans, who saw the Spanish as potential liberators from Aztec rule. Among his most valuable assets was a young indigenous woman named Malintzin, often referred to as Doña Marina or La Malinche. With his indigenous allies at his side, Cortés embarked on a daring march inland, his sights set on the heart of the Aztec Empire. His arrival in Tenochtitlan would mark a pivotal moment in history, a clash of cultures with far-reaching consequences. The first encounter between Cortés and the Aztec Emperor Moctezuma II was shrouded in tension and misunderstanding. The Aztecs, with their rich culture and powerful empire, were wary of these strange newcomers who arrived with advanced weaponry and unknown intentions. The Spanish arrived in Tenochtitlan in November 1519, their arrival a spectacle that filled the Aztecs with a mixture of awe and apprehension. The grand city, with its towering temples and bustling plazas, was unlike anything the Spaniards had ever seen. Moctezuma, caught between curiosity and fear, received Cortés with cautious hospitality. He hoped to understand these foreigners and perhaps use them to his advantage, but he was also deeply suspicious of their true motives. Cortés, however, saw an opportunity to exploit the situation. He quickly realized that by manipulating Moctezuma, he could gain control over the vast and wealthy Aztec Empire. He took Moctezuma hostage within his own palace, using him as a puppet ruler to control the Aztec people. This bold move was both a strategic masterstroke and a grave miscalculation. This act of treachery sowed the seeds of resentment among the Aztecs. The people, once loyal to their emperor, began to see him as a traitor and a pawn of the invaders. The fragile peace was shattered when Cortés received news of a Spanish force sent to arrest him for disobeying orders. The political landscape was becoming increasingly volatile. Leaving Tenochtitlan in the hands of his lieutenant, Pedro de Alvarado, Cortés marched to confront his rivals. His departure left the city vulnerable and under the command of a less experienced leader. When Cortés returned to Tenochtitlan, he found the city in open rebellion. The delicate balance of power had been disrupted, and the once great city was now engulfed in chaos and conflict. The Aztec uprising marked the beginning of the end for Tenochtitlan. The once mighty city, known for its grand temples and bustling markets, was now a battleground. The Aztecs, fierce and determined, fought valiantly to protect their homeland from the invading Spanish forces. Cortés, realizing the gravity of his situation, attempted to flee the city with his men, but suffered heavy losses during the retreat known as the Noche Triste, or the Night of Sorrows. The Spanish forces were ambushed by the Aztecs, who used their intimate knowledge of the city's layout to their advantage. Regrouping his forces, Cortés devised a plan to retake the city. He knew that a direct assault would be too costly, so he turned to a more strategic approach. His plan involved cutting off the city's supplies and weakening the Aztecs through attrition. He opted for a siege, cutting off supply lines and bombarding Tenochtitlan relentlessly with cannons. The constant bombardment took a heavy toll on the city's defenses and morale. Cortés commissioned the construction of brigantines, small maneuverable warships, to control the lakes surrounding the city. These warships allowed the Spanish to dominate the waterways and further isolate Tenochtitlan. However, the Spanish had an even more potent weapon at their disposal: disease. Smallpox, a disease previously unknown to the Americas, spread rapidly among the Aztec population. Smallpox, brought to the Americas by European colonizers, ripped through the densely populated city. The epidemic decimated the Aztec population, leaving them weakened and unable to mount an effective defense. The siege of Tenochtitlan lasted for 80 grueling days, a period of unimaginable suffering for the city's inhabitants. Food and water became scarce, and the constant threat of attack loomed over the city. On August 13, 1521, the last Aztec emperor, Cuauhtémoc, surrendered to Cortés. This marked the end of the Aztec Empire and the beginning of a new era of Spanish dominance in the region. The fall of Tenochtitlan marked the end of an era, a dramatic conclusion to centuries of indigenous civilization, and the beginning of a new order in Mesoamerica, one that would forever change the landscape and its people. The Spanish established the colony of New Spain, bringing with them their customs, religion, and governance. With Mexico City built upon the ruins of Tenochtitlan, symbolizing both destruction and rebirth. The legacy of the conquest is complex and multifaceted, a story of both loss and resilience, a tapestry woven from threads of destruction and resilience where new identities were forged. The indigenous population was decimated by disease, brought by the Europeans, which they had no immunity against, warfare and enslavement, leading to a dramatic decline in their numbers and way of life. Their culture and way of life forever altered, yet not entirely erased. Yet, from the ashes of destruction, a new culture emerged, a hybrid of indigenous and European traditions, creating a rich, mestizo heritage that continues to influence modern Mexico. The Spanish conquest irrevocably linked the Americas to the rest of the world, initiating a period of global exchange that continues to shape our present, influencing trade, culture, and international relations. As we grapple with the legacies of colonialism, it is essential to remember the lessons of the past and honor the resilience and contributions of all cultures, recognizing the enduring impact of this historical period. And honor the resilience and contributions of all cultures, celebrating the rich tapestry of our shared history.